Beverly Gardens Parkway is also home to the Public Sculpture Garden. The Sculpture Garden is administered by the Fine Arts Committee. The chairperson of that committee, Joan Quinn, is our guest on the interview portion of this month's show.
Thanks, Nicole. Welcome, Joan.
Hello, Michelle.
You're chairperson of the Beverly Hills Fine Art Committee. Can you tell us, when was the committee established and who is on it?
About 5 years ago, the City Council, in order to get art into the community of Beverly Hills and to establish a more cultural base on the outside, we all have culture at our homes, but we need to get it out on the outside a bit, formed a Fine Arts Committee. And the members of the Fine Arts Committee are appointed by City Council members and approved by the Council. We have Arnold Ashkenazi, Nancy Nebenzahl, Janet Salter, Jean Cerroti, Harriet Hockman, and
Ellen Byron?
Ellen Byrons was just appointed this year to fill a vacancy. She will be working on our education program, getting education on the arts program out into the community.
What's the main focus or the main purpose of this committee?
One of the things that we felt was very important was to make sure that the commercial triangle, the commercial field in Beverly Hills, is staying within the restrictions of the percent for art that we have in the community. We have a 1% for art and up to $60,000, and the commercial, what would you say?
The businesses.
The businesses are required to put art ornamentation in their new buildings or restructuring of their buildings, and we approve the art in a way that we make sure that the artist is a legitimate artist, that we're getting, that the builder is getting his money's worth, and that it's being put in the right site.
So what this does then is it really does bring opportunity to the artist as well as the community in terms of benefiting and enhancing the cultural life of the community?
There's no doubt about that. I think if anyone took a walk around our Beverly Hills from one end to the other end, just in the commercial district, they would be surprised at how much art they will see in buildings, in doorways, within the structure, even parts of the building, murals. And the Beverly Hills Fine Arts Committee hopes to make a map of these fine arts pieces that are in the city right now.
One of the more interesting projects that the Fine Art Committee has been working on has been, of course, the Municipal Sculpture Garden. How did that concept come about?
I am a member of the California Arts Council, which the governor appoints 11 members to the state council. I chaired the Art in Public Buildings for 4 years, and it's always been my desire to see art out of the structured museum walls, because the museum seems to be something that a lot of people are afraid to go into. The masses are afraid to enter the walls of a museum, and if we knock those walls down and bring the sculpture outside or the art outside, people start becoming aware of a different quality of life, a quality where they can think about things or be provoked by something that they see. And with the Sculpture Garden, it took us 4 years to decide on what sites we can use and get the approval of the City Council and let the members of the community know that we are putting in this Sculpture Garden. And the really brilliant thing that we came to, or decision we came to, was to get the artists to loan their work.
Now, why would an artist want to loan a piece of work?
Well, first of all, the artist will get exposure. He doesn't have to commit something to us without being able to then take it back and sell it somewhere. This way he can bring it, it's exposed, he has a site that he gets to choose. By the way, it's an invitational situation. The members of our committee invited artists to participate in this.
So which artists, who are some of the artists that have been invited?
We have Ed Moses, Laddie Dill, Guy Dill, Peter Alexander, Billy L. Bankston, Tony Berlant, who's now doing sculpture. But so far, the people who have participated in the Sculpture Garden are George Herms, Jay Willis, and Woods Davy.
Tell us about the Jay Willis and the Woods Davies piece. Jay's piece is particularly interesting. That was the first piece that we put in.
Jay, who is a professor at USC, was very, very excited about the program. And because he returned his questionnaire first and his acceptance first, he got to pick the first site. And he picked a site that was directly in the middle of Beverly Hills, across from the post office, and he called it Billboard. Jay was working only in dark metals, dark colors. And when
this piece is particularly bright. And
so when he thought of having this piece right in the middle of Beverly Hills, right on Santa Monica Boulevard, and we don't have any billboards in the city, he thought he'd call it Billboard. So we brought it out of the park area and did this very, very beautifully, brightly colored, all with OSHA colors, which was his idea because he thought that really involved municipal life, municipal city life, and built this structure of long pieces of metal called Billboard.
And that's over at Rodeo and Santa Monica Garden area.
Yes.
Now, just north, or I guess would be west
About
of there.
Roxbury and Linden area.
Now we have the Woods Davies piece. Describe that to us, and what's
Well,
Mr. Davies' background?
Woods Davy has been working in the state of California for many years. He came from the East. He went to school in Chicago. He lived in Washington, D.C. And his work is totally opposite from Jay's, in that Jay's is very up and loud and exciting and wants to say hello to you as you come by. Woods creates a situation of quietness, peacefulness, contemplation. He uses strong metal against things that you would find in nature, like rocks and pieces of wood. And so he's created a situation that is more almost Zen in feeling. And George Herms, on the other hand, built a piece for the space at Beverly Boulevard, Palm Drive, and Santa Monica Boulevard. And his piece is something that's taking on a new life. George believes in finding things to make his work. So everything that he uses has had another life somewhere else. The boys lived in the ocean. The part of the centerpiece was a part of a house at one time. And he likes to give things another life. So he puts all these things together and thinks that they will live well in whatever year he puts them together in, even though they did come from another era.
What's on the future? What do we have to look forward to?
We have a wonderful Michael Todd coming. Michael Todd has a piece of sculpture in front of Mr. Ashkenazi's hotel, and he is renowned throughout the state. This was a piece that was on view in San Francisco. And we have an Ed Moses coming. We have, I hope, a Guy Dill very shortly. And Guy Dill's work is also right over here on Maple in that complex, so that people can go over and see his work there before we even get it up in the city.
That's wonderful. Well, it's a lot of work working on this City Fine Art Committee, and I'm sure the community appreciates all the dedication that you've given us.
It is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time, but it's very exciting time, and it's very happy time when you get to see the results, and you also know that the people of the community are enjoying the labors of our love. And when you have, especially the garden, when it will be revolving, and new pieces will come in and old pieces will go out because they have a certain time limit, it'll be an exciting type of situation.
It's very exciting. Thanks, Joan, for being with us.
Thank you, Michelle.